Welcome back to Dawn of Man HP. Inception has reached, it's mid to late spring of year 2. Everybody's gotten rested up, we're up to temperature, activity is starting again. And we're trying to go after these two Mouflon out there. Quite a distant hunt, but I think we can make it. And somewhere around here there's Call, headed out that way. Everybody else is working on other tasks. We still have a serious morale issue, and it's not being made any better by the weather. Storms come by, there we go, every so often, and in addition to making people upset and hitting their morale, they can also have an issue with killing people, because lightning strikes will happen. They actually probably happen a little bit too often, but we shouldn't be too much at risk with a population that's sparse and more spread out. Unfortunately, that hunt did not go particularly well. Cave Bear interrupted. We went back, came back again. Cave Bear interrupted again. But finally, we're able to catch up to him up on this large hill, way away from our encampment, which is somewhere over there. It's even hard to see. Got Call up here, old guy out in the hot sun doing this, and we got two of them. And so, in preparation for if we would be able to do that, and it turns out we were, I built another skin dryer up here. Now, hauling back 2 full corpses of adult kills from that far away, you just barely see it out there in the distance, that was a project. That was a project indeed, and I just sort of committed to sending everybody out there. I don't care if you're tired, just go, to see if I could get it done. I knew I'd be able to at least get most of it. And then down here by the river, we've got a rhino, we've got a mammoth over here, and then a bunch more of them over this way. And of course, these are the best game animal in terms of yield, but they will fight back. They're not aggressive. They're not going to invade the camp. But then also, 800 health. You need a sizable hunting party to go after them, and we're not there. And of course, now that we go to the other end to hunt, we've got ibex down here. But, whatever. Maybe they'll still be around, be able to hunt them later. We're at least finally able to break through and get some more kills so we can get more clothes and everything. Well, it is now fall. The summer was spent pulling all of the kills back from the hill way off there, but we have made it. Everybody's kind of grumbling and in a bad mood, but we got it all back. We've got the skins up here. None of them decayed. Some of them got over halfway there, but none of them actually are going to decay before they're ready. We're building a couple more tents. One here that I just put up. That should solve our housing issue. And we've got to get everybody happier and all of that fun stuff as well. Some of them going down here to drink. I did, during the spring and summer, work on a little bit of a thing here. I built up a fishing area. I'm going to speed this up. Nope, not quite that fast. There we go. Another dry skin, 3 points away from our next advance that we can grab. But the river is always separated into these various sections. And so the best way I've found is just to put one of these wonderful work areas in the middle of a couple of them, and that way they'll fish off of both of them at once. I've reduced it now, but I was using it earlier. Obviously, we don't need fish when we've got this much meat in place. But then you gradually reduce down the fish amount, and then they'll slowly come back over time. There's a fairly limited amount in each section, so you can't just fish for all of your food for a big village or anything like that, but you could make some progress with it. So we're not building this yet. Hopefully we'll get there soon. There we go. Now we just started. Okay, building the tent. So now that our basic needs are in place, we're really wanting to work towards expanding the size of the village. We feel a little bit more secure with a couple dogs around there and having a bunch of spears on hand so we could fight at a reasonable level. I think most hostile enemy attacks, or animal attacks rather, we would be able to deal with. But in order to grow, there's a few prerequisites. I talked a little bit about this before. We've got the whole welfare thing, and this is the highest that it's been, 73%. And then you've also got to have an eligible woman who can bear children at the proper age, and that's most of the adult period they can, but not as they start getting towards elderly. So I doubt that either one of our adults, Arian or Ahmad, will do it, but the other Ahmad, our younger child, obviously will when they come of age. And so getting this in place before they are doing that is going to be very beneficial. This is ready, and we still have some work to do over here. Do we have those skins dried yet? Yep, they just got to bring them into place. So we're going to get there, and we can see, we're having some unhappy people still. So that's an issue, but at least it's not as bad as it was. And then the other issue is obviously the population capacity. We now have enough. But you really want to have more than enough. You want that to be +5, according to the developers, or better, in order to have optimal birth rate. Well, we won't have that when we build this, but that'll give us 369 capacity compared to 5. That's +4, so that's still pretty good. It should be enough at that point. We'd still probably want to build one more tent. We're short one skins outfit for the cold weather. So we're not in perfect condition, but we're looking a lot better than we were before, and we're basically ready to try to grow our numbers, and that'll help us expand our economy, expand the amount of knowledge that we can acquire, and just generally start on the growth rate that you want in any respectable city builder. So, okay, we're starting to stall out here in terms of what we're doing. So let's see if we can hunt anything else at the moment. Take a quick look around. Down here, well, way across, no, those are horses. So we've got lots of not friendly things. Yep, lots of more not friendly over here. Looks probably a cave lion and a bear, I'm going to guess. Yep. Over here, nice group of mouflons. These a bit close, but that's a possibility. That's a decent range away. And there's an ibex. Saw some of those before. That's a goat predecessor, by the way. That's a decent ways also. What are you? You're an old cave bear. Still at 300 health, but we don't think we want to mess with anything like that. We don't have a lot of spare people to go around all those mouflons. The boars are too far away, but I think hitting this ibex would be nice. So let's see if we can make that happen. Speed things up a bit again. Oh, we lost berries. Well, that's not the end of the world. That's going to happen from time to time. All right, we got a couple hunters going off here. Neither one of them too happy about their life, but they're going to do it anyway. And I don't think we've hunted an ibex yet. So if they're very similar to mouflon in terms of being those are basically the two best types to try to go after. This is an adult, so it would give us another good yield. And then, hold on, what's all this back here? Okay, that's a bear in the back. Let's hopefully not have that come towards us. I think we're going down towards the river. It's raining. It's late autumn. I just want to get this one extra kill in. You're another cave bear. Boy, you're close. I'm going to try to let this ride, see if we can make this happen. Nope, not anymore. Doggone it. Well, alright, we're going back. It really would have been nice to make that work. But we're not going to pick that kind of a fight. So I've got to go ahead and cancel this hunting task. And I think we're going to ride through the winter then on what we've got. Try to keep everybody warm. Try to keep them, healthy. Try to keep them happy. And then, revisit our hunting prospects in the spring. The winter went much better second time around. We actually had some people hanging out for part of it. We had some people who spent a good amount of it in the tent as well, but nobody got hypothermia. So everything was fine. Then the spring comes, we tried to hunt a mouflon. That didn't go too well. And then I noticed this. There was an adult cave lion over here, badly injured from some botched hunt, I'm sure. Perhaps the only one that survived of the pack, I don't know. Maybe he got split off, maybe they abandoned it. I didn't actually see what happened, but now we have the opportunity because it should not take that much. Got it. Didn't even sustain any damage. There's our first cave lion. And we'll need one more and we'll get this all set up. But we need to get set up out here. Now, you were coming out here to start the hunt, but you're not doing that. And by the way, the person who did it, is Amand, who has become an adult, and so has Gorik. We have no more children left in the city. There we go. Our welfare is going up. That's good. No pregnancies yet. Unfortunately, it'll list them right here if you have any. But, yeah, just the one Varenkal there who is old, and everybody else is adult. So our capabilities, our workforce, definitely going to get a serious upgrade there. We now have 10 raw fish. That's another point. And now we're ready to go and take care of some of knowledge. So what do we want to do next? I think it's a tough choice here between two of them. One is funerary rituals. And that'll give us the burial mounds. We can do proper burials. And we do have an old man, so that would be something to look forward to soon. The other is food drying, though. And I think this is even more important. Both these are important for morale. Because if somebody dies and you don't bury them, then you don't get a morale recovery. You can recover like half the morale they lose when somebody dies. So keeping morale high, obviously good for the village. But food drying is critical. Having a good food surplus helps with the welfare, which is going to help with population growth. And it will also allow us to gain more knowledge faster because of some of the stuff we can do there. So we're going to get the food drying set. Whoops. And traders are finally leaving, the second group. And we're going to get that lion butchered. But up here on the hill again, we're going to do some more drying stuff. There it is, the food dryer, 10 sticks. I think I'm going to put it down this way a little bit more. We'll just set it, that's a decent spot, right on top of the hill. If we want another one, we can set it here. But that'll give them plenty of things to do for the time being. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Mod's going to go out and do some more fishing. I did extend my fishing, by the way. I've now got a work area up here and a work area down here for them to all work on that, which is going to be excellent. And then we just finished butchering. Is that what happened here? Yep. Okay, you have one of those. Yeah, you went and ate the meat because you're hungry and now you're going to be all upset. Let's see. Let's get somebody else out here to grab that right away. And then we're going to be able to do some business with those skins. There you are. Yeah, you stop fishing for the moment and come over here. There we go. And we'll need to get you to grab the bone as well. But somebody will do that. Bone's not that important anyway. So here in our wonderful village, we've got our tent, which is in bad need of repair. They need to repair when they get halfway down. And it automatically sets it up to do it unless you tell it something else. So we need one of these dry skins. And then it'll boost it back up by half. So this will be mostly recovered by the time that happens. The other tents that we just built, not quite as much. But the constant need for skins in that is always going to be a big pressure in the early game. I want everybody to get over here and build this, but it's going to take them a while to get into place. Alright, it's time to get this thing built. Still in the spring here. Oh good, we have a storm coming. That's excellent. Let's take a look at the food dryer, and while we're doing that, we actually have Gorik and Amand coming over here to get this work done. We have 4 poles sticking out of the ground. And the purpose of this is to preserve our protein. It has a massive boost in how long they last. Building our framework here. From 1 season to a full year for our meat. Fish can be turned to dry fish. Meat into cured meat. Yes, yes, lightning. That's not going to do any good for our morale, of course. But the storms are just going to keep coming. It's a part of life. And there's our food dryer. It's in place. Hooray. So let's speed this up and get some things on that, shall we? You can see our workload has spiked. This is just up and down like crazy. So is this. You can see, like, this previous spike is during the summer of last year when we were gathering stuff up. And then it came down here and then came back up. This was during the winter. And so getting above 150% is highly not recommended because it messes with the AI for task allocation and all of that. People will not. But, you know, a couple nice strikes in here. Glad they didn't hit anybody. Yay, and we are covering morale. Varenkal is trying to fight against the despair in his soul. Meanwhile, we should get that repair done pretty quick, I would think. Here comes the fish. There's the fish. Let's zoom in on this again now that we've got that up in place. So essentially, you know, they're hanging them down, letting them dry out in, hopefully, the sun. Yeah, now the sun's back out again. That looks more like it should. And separate enough, so the main things you need here are airflow, and need it to be relatively low humidity, and you need some heat. And more water that gets out of them, less bacteria is going to break it down, the food is preserved, and it lasts a lot longer. And this is very similar to how things were, in fact, done at the time. So here you can see a modern version of this technique. The fish are flattened out, they're hanging down from a horizontal pole in the sun, and you can see they're hung in pairs sort of here. They're separated by this wooden rod, as it were, that's keeping them apart, and all of that increases the sort of surface area to volume ratio to help them dry out better. And this is a technique still practiced in many parts of the world for dehydrating. Obviously, we have other methods now. We have food dehydrators. After this, they would develop ways of curing by using salt, and they would smoke it to preserve it. And of course, in modern days, it's just, well, plug in the refrigerator. But that wasn't exactly an option at the time. We're continuing to work on our morale. We're bringing this over to get, I think we're going to get that tent set up with the repair item. But from a practical sort of gameplay perspective, one, this gives us 2 new items to work on. Because we can now get food in the dry fish and cured meat category. So that will add to our knowledge gain. And then in addition to that, we are going to be able to manage the settlement much better. We can put people to work on things when we want to. We can build up a backlog. We don't have to constantly be worrying about running out of food because it's going to last so much longer. Going in there to go to sleep, all of this going on. I think you're going to build more. Yep, you're going to build more the final skins outfits we need. Okay, and while they do this repairing, you can just see this ticking up. So that's getting put in place, and it's being repaired. And that'll, of course, again, be a constant process. For example, it's a lot better to do all of our hunting in the summer and in the fall, because that's when they can forage for stuff from the trees, chestnuts and berries and all that, and they won't eat the raw meat nearly as much when they're off on a run, if there's something like that nearby, or off on a hunt, I should say. And then from a reality of the time point of view, this was a huge thing in allowing people to put down roots and actually build a community. Because if you can't preserve the food for very long, then you have to constantly be getting more again. And you've got to constantly be moving as, you know, game runs out in an area, or unseasonal bad weather, or just changing of the seasons. You've got to constantly be moving around to new areas. But learning how to preserve food, dry it out in this way, was one of the really big important things in allowing civilization literally to develop. So this, both in the game and in reality, a huge development getting this food drying in place. And now we really, I want to get another tent up, do a little more hunting once our workload goes down, and that will get us to that, you know, full bonus that we want if we check in on everything. We're looking pretty good here. And now, as it gets in the summer, it's actually going to look worse, because we don't have clothes for the summer. We don't have the leather clothes. That we can't build them yet. And so they'll take off their warmer stuff in the summer. I think they've probably just started doing that. Yeah, they put the skins outfit there. And once they all get around doing that, our welfare is actually going to drop. But there's really nothing to be done about that, because we can't get leather building anytime soon. We can continue to work on the morale. We're going to be working on that as much as we can, keep everybody up as high as we can, and work on that birth rate, because it's so vital to the survival of the village. And we've reached our 3rd fall, and now we're officially at a balance point. There's really only one thing I could do, and that would be to build, you know, the bigger storage building. And where would I put it that would be convenient? I don't really think there is anywhere. If I find a decent spot, I'll do it. But, you know, I had to move this is our 4th tent. It's a little bit away, but it's, you know, just in a little bit of a clearing here. And there's nothing else useful to do except for, of course, we need to have some babies. We need to procreate, expand our numbers, and get in the best mood we possibly can. Here we are. Boy, is this skull pole getting a workout, and that's going to continue. But as we move towards winter, you can see our welfare right back up again. So hopefully we will soon have a pregnancy, and going forward from here, we're going to have a lot more, time skipping and that type of thing going on. Because while we're moving up knowledge towards getting that burial mound, everything is just sort of going to be stable for a while. And we had a bit over here where we just had, like, this was full. We actually had some stuff waiting to go on the food dryer, but that was very temporary. There's 6 slots on it. That's plenty. You can see we've got more than 2 food right now for every person that we have. So everything's great. Hopefully this will start to stabilize, and then eventually this will, and we just need to grow. So we'll be getting to that more next time. Till then, thanks for watching. Dawn of Man will return.